So now we will start with the next module, that is module 5. Module 5, design methodology. So in that the topic is design flow. So in that the subtopics are architecture exploration, functional design, functional verification, synthesis, physical design. So first is, what is architecture exploration? So architecture exploration is used to analyze the requirements given by the client and develops the overall organization into a digital system. Functional design is nothing but it allows the designer to develop a behavioral model of the component which belongs to the system. Functional verification means here it is used to verify the functionality of a design. So if the functionality of a design has fails or failure, then you have to redesign the functionality of the design. Next is synthesis. It allows to convert the higher level of abstraction into the lower level of abstraction, means converting higher level of program into the machine language or lower level of program. Physical design means it is used to implement the design in the form of circuit. So it uses two basic implementation fabrics. They are FPGA and ASIC. So FPGA is nothing but field programmable gate array and ASIC is nothing but application specific integrated circuits. Okay. So now we will start with this one by one. So first we will discuss what is design flow. Design flow is a prototypical design methodology which is divided into a number of stages. Okay. So it belongs to the design methodology divided into number of stages, as they are functional design, synthesis and the physical design. So each stage includes verification steps to ensure that the design meets its requirements and satisfies the constraints. Okay. So that is nothing but design flow here. So you have to check step by step to meet the requirements and the constraints given by the client by doing all these stages and verification. So now we will take one below prototype is there. So we will discuss this, how this prototype works and implements the final product into the market. Okay. So this is a prototypical design flow including the hardware bar software co-design. So we'll start with the step by step to understand this one. So this is already discussed in module 1 also. If you guys remember, it will be very easy to understand. Now the first is the requirements and constraints. So requirements here two types. One is functional requirement, second is performance requirement. So functional requirements here allows us what product is to do, whereas performance requirement allows us how fast the product works, whereas the constraints are nothing but power consumption, cost and packaging of a device. So now in that the next step is architecture exploration and partitioning. So architecture exploration is nothing but, as I discussed, so it allows to analyze the requirements and develops the overall organization of a digital system to meet the requirements. Okay. So here, see, the main tool used for the architecture exploration is a whiteboard where a system architect draw the block diagram, okay, for the architecture, and that block diagram includes the main subsystem and that subsystem includes the sub and subsystems. So that is nothing but architecture exploration. And partitioning means, so that main system is divided into a software and hardware. So in that, software requirement and constraints are included and hardware constraints and requirements are included. So in that, this software requirements and constraints goes to the next state, that is software unit design. So here, based on the requirements, here this unit develops the program based on the requirements and the constraints, and here also this group develops the hardware based on the given requirements and constraints. okay, hardware design, okay. So then software unit verification. So here the program developed by the software unit will be verified and checks that is there any failure or errors in that program. Similarly here also hardware unit verifies the hardware developed by the hardware unit design. If it satisfies, if say it is okay, goes to the next stage. If it is has a failure in the system, then it goes to the no, and again you have to redesign the system or the architecture here. So if it is okay, then you have to integrate the software, because the program which is developed by the software unit design is subdivided into many teams. So those programs of the many teams are integrated. Similarly here also hardware integration, that you have to write here. Hardware integration has been done, okay, which is divided into the many teams. Then software integration verification need to be done. We have to combine all the sub-programs to form one main program. Similarly here, combining all the devices to make one device, that is hardware integration and verification. If it stands okay, goes to the next stage. Otherwise, again redesign the system. So if it stands okay here, then you have to synthesize the program. So synthesizing means, again I said that, higher level of abstraction to a lower level of abstraction. Means register transfer level to a gate level. Okay, because the code which is written is in terms of register transfer, that need to be converted into terms of gate level. Okay, so synthesis and post synthesis verification depends on the converting RTL to gate level. So if it stands okay, here in post synthesis verification, it generates a summary which includes the netlist, the detailed netlist of the devices which are constructed or implemented, and some devices like multiplexers, buffers, all are included in that netlist or the summary. So if it is okay, goes to the next step, that is physical implementation. So physical implementation is nothing but, here it analyzes the refined design. Refined means everything is done now. You have to analyze this refined design, okay, and then we have to implement using two implementation fabrics. They are nothing but FPGA and ASIC. So once this is done, you have to verify that the implementation which has done need to be verified. Again, if there is any failure in that, again you have to redesign the system. So once the physical verification is done without any errors, then if it is okay, it goes to the manufacturer, otherwise redesign it. So once it is manufactured, we need to test the complete physical design. Okay, nothing but in testing you have to separate the devices like good devices and faulty devices. So based on that, the cost of the final product is decided. Then it will send to the market. So this is about prototypical design flow, including hardware bar software co-design. Okay, so this is about the design flow of the module 5 of design methodology. In the next video, we will start with one by one architecture exploration, functional design, functional verification, synthesis, and physical design. Okay, so any doubts, you can text me a message. Thank you.